From Islam Makhachev thinking the highlight stands no chance in his upcoming bout, to Chael Sonnen being torn between the two athletes. Here's what pros predicted on Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje. UFC 291 is about to see one hell of a fight, and pros are joining the fans in predicting the outcome of the upcoming hyped bout. The lightweight champion Makhachev himself shared his 2 cents in the bout, and he's leaning towards the diamond. Now, if someone's fit to make a prediction, it's the title holder himself. In a chat with former UFC champion Daniel Cormier, the Dagestani said the outcome's going to be the same as the pair's first meeting. Now, in case you forget how things went down the first time, let me jog up your memory a bit. Poirier and Gaethje locked horns at UFC Fight Night, and the Diamond came through with a 4-round knockout win. And that's exactly how the champion thinks the rematch is going to play out. Get this. Islam said that Dustin's the better fighter between the two, and Justin has nothing to offer against him. Come on, the Diamond's boxing is out of the world. And you can't have a conversation about the best boxers in the UFC without bringing his name up. Makhachev knows it, and that's why he's rooting for him. Because that's what he thinks it's going to come down to, a boxing match. The champion went on about Justin's latest bout against Rafael Fiziev and said he looked good in the fight, but that victory isn't impressive. Because fighters like Fiziev and Michael Chandler are nowhere near Dustin freaking Poirier. Yeah, he's a completely different challenge. If Makhachev's prediction comes true, he might face Poirier in the next couple of months for a title defense. Speaking of a fight with the lightweight champion, another athlete was trying to make an attempt at the title shot. I'm talking about Beneil Dariush. But since he lost to Charles Oliveira at UFC 289, that's out of the picture. Beneil's still out here making predictions though, and jumped on the bandwagon to talk about the upcoming bout. Dariush is hella excited for the fight, and he thinks both fighters have improved a lot since their last meeting in the octagon. Benny took some time out of his training to share his 2 cents on the fight, and his predictions are the opposite of what the champion thinks. Yeah, he's leaning toward Gaethje. The athlete thinks both fighters are one of the best in the division, and it's gonna be a close fight. He thinks Gaethje's footwork has gotten a lot better over the years, and his fight IQ is up there too now. I'll have to agree, the highlights become smarter, and he definitely knows how to move his head to avoid those big hits now, which is going to help him a lot against Poirier, who reigns the striking game. And this guy just keeps on getting better and better at it. Yeah, that's where Poirier's skills truly shine, and he takes control and dominates the fight. Dariush is super pumped about the bout, and because both fighters are highly skilled in the sport, he thinks it all comes down to one thing: hunger to win the fight. And the athlete thinks Gaethje has the hunger to come out on top. Beneil also went on about how he watched Justin's bout with Fiziev, and when the whole fight world was predicting the highlight to lose, he came out on top and proved them all wrong by showing his true skills. Well, that's definitely one way to put it. Dariush said that if the same version of Gaethje walks into the ring with Poirier, the Diamond's gonna have a hard time defeating the athlete. Benny's putting a lot of faith in Gaethje to get redemption, and let me tell you, he's not the only one. Take it from Brian Ortega, who's also on the same page as Benny. T-City was first row for the pair's epic first clash, so he's definitely getting front row tickets to the rematch too, and he's pumped as hell. Ortega said that it's gonna be a tough one, but he's rooting for Gaethje, who is his favorite fighter to watch on the entire UFC roster. The athlete praised the highlights fighting style and said that he puts on a show every single time he steps into the octagon. So it's safe to say that Brian is a fan and he'll be there front seat. But want to know who else is a big fan of Gaethje? The man himself, Eddie Alvarez. Yep, Eddie said that he knows Poirier isn't one to take lightly in the octagon. He's got the edge and is unpredictable in the cage, which is truly one of the best skills to have. But Eddie thinks Justin's taking the win home for this one. It's a skill-for-skill battle, but Gaethje's driven by desire and will. Man, we've seen redemption take athletes places. I mean, look at Poirier, for example. If it wasn't for his loss to Conor McGregor in their first clash, he probably would never have gone through the transformation of a lifetime and come out better than ever. Yeah, he took McGregor down after that, and not once, but twice. These pros think that our man Gaethje is on the same path, and that's why the fight world has high hopes from him. This upcoming matchup is sparking reactions from everyone in the fight world, and it can easily be the fight of the year. Dana White knew what he was doing when he was pairing these two for a rematch, And speaking of white, the UFC president also had a lot to say about the hype of the match. Justin and Dustin are up for the baddest title, and that's one way to spice up fights. This gimmick belt was introduced for the first time in 2019 at UFC 244 when Nate Diaz locked horns with Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal ended up taking it home, so when he retired, Dana put the title up for grabs. And what's a better fight for it than a Gaethje versus Poirier rematch? Plus, the winner of the upcoming bout is also getting a title shot against Makhachev for the lightweight gold. Yeah, you know, since Oliveira already lost to the champion, and the champion wants to lean toward new opponents, the winner of the upcoming match is going to be next in line. And we're back on the topic of, who's it going to be? Well, so far Gaethje is a favorite, and the next fighter on my list is also jumping on the bandwagon to back him up. Drew Dober is a big Poirier fan, but he's an even bigger Gaethje fan, so he's rooting for his Fav. The athlete said that he's super stoked about the upcoming rematch, and if it's anything like the pair's first meeting in the octagon, it's gonna be epic, that everyone will be hyped about. Well, the matchup's making all the buzz in the fight world, and that's why all the pros are sharing their 2 cents on it. Yeah, I've got a ton more on my list. Jalen Turner's like almost everyone else on the list, and he's going for Justin too. Then there's Al Iaquinta, who's torn between the 2 fighters. The athlete said that both of them are highly skilled, so the match could go either way. Yeah, you're right, Al. It's gonna be close, so it's hard to predict. Is anyone here rooting for Poirier? I mean, obviously except for the champion. Dustin doesn't need pros rooting for him. He's got his own back. You know this guy, his confidence is what brought him this far in MMA, so he isn't gonna let all these predictions get to his head. The Diamond said that he knows all the improvements Gaethje has made over the years, and kudos to him for that. But get this, Poirier still thinks the BMF title is his, and he's taking the win home. Yeah, the athlete's confident in his ability, and after going through an intense training camp, he's ready to bring the heat once again. I guess it's safe to say he's locked and loaded to take down Justin once again. That's the spirit. This one's for sure a tough one to predict. That's why most people are in Al Iaquinta's boat and are torn between who to pick. Take it from Chael Sonnen, who knows it's going to be huge. You know, we don't take the analyst's words with grains of salt here, because this guy knows what he's talking about. The whole fight world was waiting for him to share his 2 cents on the fight. But here's the thing, he can't decide on a fighter either. Sonnen believes that the pair's first meeting didn't settle the score between them. Justin was winning the rounds, but Dustin knocked him out and finished the fight. Well, both are hungry for the one, and it can go either way. So there you have it, Fight World. From Chael Sonnen being torn between the 2 athletes, to Islam Makhachev thinking the highlight stands no chance in his upcoming bout. This was all for pros predicting Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje.